part 2 of my Nami defense because we are not done. The next big argument people use is, well, okay, but she's not a child anymore. She's an adult. She should know better. The Sorrow argument, so to speak. And sure, on paper, that's true. But let me ask you something. How many of us can just shake off years of childhood abuse and trauma the moment we become adults? That's not how any of this works. It takes people years of therapy to undo that kind of damage. And I think people forget this because Emily Rudd is in her 30s, but Nami as a character is 18 years old. She was quite literally a traumatized, abused child up until basically 5 minutes before the show begins. Now, was her plan ever going to work? No. We know that as an audience because we have the privilege of watching from the outside completely unaffected and with a very developed understanding of fiction tropes and narrative. But when you know someone in real life who's in an abusive relationship and can't leave because they genuinely believe that their abuser will change, you don't tell them that they're being an idiot. You try to understand that they've been conditioned by that abuse. You try to help them in the way that they're actually able to accept help. That is the Luffy approach. And it's mystifying to me that people don't extend that same instinct to Nami. Then there's the argument that she should have just told her sister and her village what she was doing, and I get why people say that. In the manga and the anime she does. But the live action made a change, and it's not a nonsensical one. Nami tells us why she didn't tell anyone, and it's because she didn't want to lose anyone else she loved. And you know what? She was right, because the second her sister and the townspeople find out, what do? They try to go fight Arlong themselves, which Nami knew was a suicide mission. She was protecting them, or trying to in her own way. Honestly, the live action version makes more sense to me because what kind of responsible adult community lets a 10-year-old sell herself into slavery to save a town full of grown-ups? I'm glad that was changed. They would have all come off as cowards otherwise. So here's the bottom line. We keep saying that we want complex, flawed female characters in our media. And then when we actually get one, a character whose flaws are directly rooted in documented trauma response, we drag her for it and refuse to show her any compassion. Nami's mistakes aren't bad writing. They are the opposite of bad writing. They are the point. And I really think some people in this fandom need to sit with that, not just for Nami's sake, but further up. That's it. That's the rant. Bye.